Hello everybody, welcome to Echoes of Color with Jeffrey Morrison. I'm going to continue with my Noah's Ark diamond art here, my whip, my current whip. I'm basically at this top left hand corner. I did a bit more last night when I finished recording my previous video. So I'm recording as much as I can while I'm off. And we'll just continue with 100 getting to know you questions. We'll do a few more today. So, yeah. Hopefully everybody's doing great. Welcome to the channel. Pleasure to have you if you just discovered my channel and this is your first video. So, we'll just jump right into it. We're basically at question number 23 out of 100. I didn't answer a couple of questions last time because I don't have children, so... Anyway, this 100 getting to know you questions can be found at signupgenius.com, so I just looked it up randomly on Google to kind of break the ice and get to know me a little better. So, number 23. If you could hire someone to help you, would it be with cleaning, cooking, or yard work? I'd say this one is fairly straightforward. Yard work. Yeah, not really too much of a gardener, but I could handle cutting grass, but if I had the choice not to, it would be yard work. That one's fairly straightforward. I can cook half decently well, and my current job is cleaning, so I could handle those two fairly easily. I could do the yard work too, but if I could hire somebody, I'd give them the yard work. Okay, question 24. If you could eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be? What immediately comes to mind is spaghetti and meatballs. Yeah, for the rest of my life, probably be gluten-free noodles, pasta, which I'm used to. So, wouldn't have as much carbs, maybe, but I don't know. A runner-up would be grilled cheese sandwich and tomato soup pairing. So, yeah. Those are kind of two options there. 25. Who is my favorite author? J.D. Robb or Nora Roberts for the In-Depth series, or the author of Hatchet. Oh shoot, Gary Paulson. I read Hatchet for school when I was younger and did kind of like a study on it, and then I've probably read it a couple more times when I was older or out of school. So that was a good survival book. His parents had divorced. The main character's parents had divorced, and he was going to see his father, which had lived in a different area. So he was in a single passenger Cessna or something, and the pilot had a heart attack, and he ended up being lost in the wilderness. And then there's like a couple other books it became a series, but I didn't read the rest of them. So yeah, Gary Paulson and J.D. Robb, which is pseudonym for Nora Roberts. I just basically read the In-Depth series books, not in any particular order, but I have a few of them. Have you ever had a nickname? What is it? Just basically a short form of my full name, Jeffy, or Jeff. Yeah. Nothing too fancy. It's just a short form of a name. Do you like or dislike surprises? Why or why not? I don't mind surprises. Yeah, unless they're like not very good surprises, which I've just been hearing of lately or seeing lately. So I generally like surprises if it's on good terms. I think that would basically fit in the boat for everybody. Okay, 28. In the evening, would you rather play a game, visit a relative, watch a movie, or read? In the evenings, I generally meditate, so probably closest territory would be read. I would read. Not really too much into the games. Yeah, as I mentioned, I disconnected all my video game systems. Uh, Visit a relative, we just do that around the holidays, really. Well, we couldn't since pandemic, but besides the point. Uh, Watch a movie. Not really huge on movies, really, anymore. I'll watch one occasionally, but it's just not my kind of thing as much anymore. I am busy like diamond painting or working or on Facebook and all that. YouTube. Would you rather vacation in Hawaii or Alaska, and why? Hawaii. I did mention this in the last video. I'm more tropical. Since I live in Canada, I'm pretty used to winter, so going to another place which is basically winter oriented. Well, it depends when you go to Alaska, but just going to another cold place just kind of seems redundant, in my opinion. But I'm sure Alaska is beautiful, but I'd go for a tropical climate because I've never been to a tropical climate because I've never left Canada. So I don't have a passport. So if I could, I'd go to Hawaii or somewhere tropical. 30. I'm only going up to 33. So, would you rather win the lottery or work a perfect job, and why? I'd probably win the lottery, even though it's like a long shot, but theoretically, yeah, win the lottery because you then can do whatever you want and not have to get called back into work. Even if it's like an awesome job, it's still, you just still might have to be there or telecommute or somebody would always be calling you. Maybe. But it depends whether you're like the owner or you just work there. So yeah, you'd just probably end up telecommuting or something if you had the perfect job. They just want you there all the time, and that kind of feels like me now at my current job. It's like I just get called in out of the blue because they just don't know what they want to do. Yeah, it's kind of frustrating. It's like win the lottery and then just do what I want. 31. Would you want to be stranded? Oh, who would you want to be stranded with on a deserted island? Uh, hmm. I don't know. Would it be like a certain person or like a certain? I'd say Brian from Hatchet, the book I read based on the favorite author question, because he learned how to survive on in a forested area, which would be very similar to a deserted island. I'll bet the salt water, if this was like an island surrounded by ocean, but it could also be an island surrounded by fresh water as well. But still, Brian from Hatchet, the main character, who has to struggle to survive in the wilderness after the pilot in the Cessna has a heart attack. So Yeah. Mm. It's kind of nice how that tied in with a previous question, so that's kind of cool. 32. If money was no object, what would you do all day? Probably what I'm doing right now, like diamond painting, meditating, listening to music, checking Facebook, watching a few YouTube videos, reading for a bit, doing word search. Yeah, I just relax, basically. I'd sleep in for a bit, but I wouldn't sleep all day. That I just feel like crap if I sleep in all day. So I did that one time, and I just felt so off. I slept too much. I'm lucky if I get like 5 or 6 hours of sleep, and then I may crash at like 3 p.m. later in the day. But if I drink a couple cups of coffee and some water, then I'm generally okay. The tiredness kind of goes away, but I do generally crash around 3 p.m. Yeah, having enough more money than you know what to do with is just kind of blows the mind, really. I'd certainly help the less fortunate, I can tell you that. Go volunteer at a food bank or something if there's no COVID, or donate to the less fortunate homeless shelters. And I'd help somebody I'd less fortunate get out of debt, and then yeah, just help the food banks, drug addiction centers. That's kind of would be more valuable to me once I had a better established, like if I had my own place and clothes on my back and food, if I was well off with just like the basics, I wouldn't go crazy, then I'd be in a better position to help people. And if money was no object, then that would make it all the better. I could help like thousands of people and just make a difference in their lives, which is a little more valuable than just supporting myself. Like, I just go with the basics: food, shelter, and just enough to live on myself. And then any surplus would just, I'd help other people live their dreams and give them a better life, better lease on life. Yeah, that kind of broad. Yeah, I wouldn't want to splurge on myself because, yeah, materialism, I don't know, it's just a continuous void. Once you get what you want, or once you aspire and get what you want, eventually it's just, yeah, just feel empty eventually because you just only want more. And yeah, I kind of got sucked into that with buying DVDs and video games and all that. It just, after a while, it just felt empty. So I kind of put the kibosh on buying movies and video games and just went in a different direction. If you could go back in time, what year would you travel back to? I'd say 1996, 97, when I was younger, when everything wasn't so chaotic as it is now. I don't know, there just seemed to be more order back then, and I was younger and I didn't know half the tragic stuff, or been through half the tragic stuff that I've been through, or chaotic events. Yeah, just back to when I was a child, when I really didn't know too much, but just was happier. To tell you the truth, really. It's kind of a broad question, really. Yeah, that's basically the questions. That's basically the good swath of questions for today for that. So, as I go along, I'll just keep doing more questions. There's 100, so might not be able to answer a couple, but like in the last video, but yeah, I'll answer what I can. So if you want to answer any of these questions in the comments down below, feel free. It's good to get a viewpoint on what other people think, so yeah, go for it by all means. Or you could check out signupgenius.com. It should be all lowercase. You'll be able to find it if you want to do this tag. So, yeah. It's been basically noon here, so I just decided to. I'm Eastern Standard Time in Southwestern Ontario, same areas, or just outside same areas, but I have the same areas address anyway. So, yeah, it's just basically past noon and just a day off from work, so I just decided to record. So when I have the chance to record, I most likely will. So it's all good. It's just basically watching CB24, getting updates from Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, and all that, about how COVID's doing. Yeah, just the regular news cycle. I do that once or twice a day, mostly in the evenings, but when I go snag a cup of coffee, I've had a couple of cups of coffee, been up for a few hours anyway. I did kind of sleep in. Mom got groceries, helped her put those away, and then had lunch and came out here. Yeah, it's pretty low key around here. Like, we can't really do too much anyway, but yeah. I was kind of yesterday, I did a few errands. Just essential errands, of course. I pay room and board to my parents to help them pay the bills, so I tried moving out a couple years ago with a roommate, but that didn't work out, and I was like in a relationship and my job was driving me nuts that single year. I'd like to say 2018 was a really terrible year for me. it it was just chaos. Uh yeah, job was kind of driving me crazy. I was paying all the bills at the apartment that my friend's apartment that I was at. It wasn't his fault that he was unemployed. It's just was hard for him to find a job that year. Uh, Roommate really didn't like the woman that I was dating. I was kind of unhappy in the relationship too, so it just all kind of tried working out the relationship. Just struggled with paying rent to the landlord of the apartment and paying my bills to keep my head above water, and it was just, yeah. But that was then. This is now. I'm just back at home, just paying room and board. Uh, when I do move out again, it's just gonna be me. I Yeah, I'm not ready to have a roommate. I'm just gonna be personally accountable for being responsible for my expenses and all that. It's just, it seems you really have to know somebody or be able to count on somebody to help you in case you run into trouble yourself when you're in a living situation, or if you're in a relationship and you're moving in together. Uh, I've just decided to be a bachelor, single. Yeah, because I've tried the relationship thing, and between work and balancing it all out, it just seems really difficult for me. Because I generally work straight weekends, but lately I've been working during the week due to increased need at work for my job. But yeah, in the next couple of weeks, that should just taper off to a regular schedule. Yeah, ever since, well, even during high school, when I was old enough to work, I just been working. I worked at McDonald's and Tim Hortons when I was in high school in those years, and eventually earned enough money to buy a used car. I did mention this in my first introduction video, my very first video, or second video, maybe. I think it was the first video, my introduction video. But anyway, just I've been at my current job for 16 years, and yeah, it's kind of grinding on me now, but it does pay the bills at this point. Is yeah, and I'm deemed an essential worker because I work in the food industry, so it's fortunate to have a job, but yeah, it does grind my gears. It's been grinding my gears lately to just try something else or go try something new. So this is kind of being on YouTube is kind of part of it. Kind of a transition, hopefully. Probably won't be making like a living with YouTube alone for a bit, but it is a valid goal since this is a hobby and it's a big part of my life, and it's a good go-to. Just crafting in general, YouTube or diamond painting in general. So basically, do it every day, even if it's just for a couple hours, on and off camera. So oh, just it's a just a good way to unwind after a rough day at work or at night when the house isn't as active and when the phone's not going off all the time. Just like, yeah, I'm more a night owl than an early riser. I have to get up at like 5:30 in the morning to go to work in order to be like ready in there for like 6:30. Yeah, my morning routine's not too hardcore. Get dressed, have ketones. It's kind of a meal replacement. Don't really eat a bowl of cereal anymore. Or we really don't have milk in the house. We just have like heavy cream, which is kind of whipping cream essentially. And I put that on my coffee instead of like half and half cream now. When I'm at home, I still drink half and half cream if I go get a coffee from Tim Hortons or something. So yeah, we used to just get like half and half cream and heavy cream because I was kind of skeptical about how heavy cream would taste in coffee, but it's just a thicker cream, but it's not, doesn't overpower the coffee at all. You could say that I'm not really drinking real coffee if I'm making it a 2 cream, 2 sugar, which is my go-to coffee, my go-to coffee recipe or combination. But yeah. Yep, I just like the classic large double double or 2 cream, 2 sugar coffee when I do drink coffee. I'm kind of not very good at drinking water at a regular basis, but I do drink at least a couple glasses a day. Should be drinking like 8, but holy cow. I have to go to the washroom like how many times throughout the day? Well, drinking coffee, it's a diuretic as well, so you're going to the washroom multiple times a day anyway. If you get, if you drink tons of water and tons of coffee, as long as I have 1 cup of coffee, then I'm generally fine. I get that caffeine withdrawal headache later in the day if I'm at work because I really don't leave the work site unless I'm going to the other plant that I clean to work there. I really don't go while I'm working to like a drive through or rarely make a coffee at work. There is a coffee machine at the one work site that I go to, but yeah, they want the person who bought the coffee machine is an employee there, and he wants like 50 cents a cup. And I generally really don't carry change anymore because there's also vending machines there, and in vending machines, there's generally like junk food, which I stay away from but have indulged in because I did have change in my pocket from doing something else. I'm lucky if I have a couple bills in my wallet, like a couple, if I have like 20 something dollars in my wallet or something. It generally doesn't stay in my wallet. It's just generally go to the bank machine, get room and board, and give it to the parents to help pay bills and all that. So I basically use debit card for any of my purchases or stuff like that. I know you should generally have like a $20 bill or some money in your wallet on hand just in case a debit machine gives out or something, but I don't know. I've just really never gone with that. Tell you the truth. It's annoying having to go to a bank machine constantly. I just like the money to sit there because I have automatic payments for car insurance, and I sponsored 2 children through Compassion, so it's just the payment is automatically deducted from my bank account. So I have automated payments. I have to pay my other bills manually, my credit card bills manually through my banking website. I do online banking, so generally me having change or something like that in my wallet is very rare, and seeing anything other than 20s in my wallet, $20 bills in my wallet is fairly rare too. I've had a couple of 50s, but up here in Canada, the money is like multicolored. 20s are green, 50s are red, 100s are purple, I think. Like have purple ink or something. I've had 50s and 100s before, but no. It's because the bank machines that I go up to, you can select denominations of what you withdraw out of the machines, like up to $100 bills, and I hate that. Just give me 20s. I just get the amount that I need and then just hand my parents 20s, a stack of 20s, to cover my room and board for bi-weekly basis. So I pay a certain amount a month, and then, yep, every 2 weeks, I just go to the bank machine, and then, yeah, give them money to help buy groceries and pay general house bills. So, yeah, very straightforward. We agreed on an amount. Helps buy the ketones, that meal replacement that I mentioned earlier, that I have for breakfast, you could say. Just a meal replacement. And just helps detox your blood or something. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure about ketones, but something to do with cleaning your blood or something. I don't know. It's just a meal replacement. I don't know. What else? Yeah, it's just been go to work, come home, go out for the odd errand. Yeah, basically following the lockdown guidelines. So I have plenty to do here. Like, yeah, it can basically jump around the house and do whatever I need to do. So I'm not technically bored ever, really. I could hitch up one of my uh, meditation apps and meditate anytime, but I do generally meditate uh, in the evenings when the house is just quieter and not much is going on. We had snowfall overnight and kind of a blizzard came through earlier this morning. So I went out and shoveled a bit of snow out of our driveway to just so we don't get tracking snow. So the vehicle could park properly and we don't end up with like a layer of ice in the driveway. Because basically live by the highway, so our driveway is gravel. It's not paved at all. Yeah. There's a strip of highway property between us and the highway going into Stratford or heading into London, Ontario. So, yeah. In the summer, we cut that uh, highway grass. It's just flat land, basically. It's just grassland, really. So it doesn't really get maintained by the province or the county or whatever. So my dad has a lawn tractor and he just gets on it and cuts the grass, and then during the summer, and yeah, we just maintain that part of the lawn. Uh, this past summer, a lot of our oak trees have been dying or like falling down around near the house. So we've kind of had a couple contractors come in and cut some of the trees down, and my dad's coworkers and other individuals have asked us about using the fallen wood from the trees or the logs or whatever for wood projects or firewood. So we've just done that. That's how we've basically cleaned up our trees, and then we just have a fire pit and burn the branches. So yeah, I have a fire pit. It's just basically controls waste and shrubbery that's around the house. It'd be great if we could plant, oh, excuse me, uh, maple trees or other trees to replace the trees. I think they're oak. They've just like so old on the property. And they're basically along the property line. They're like a natural marker for a property line between the highway property and our property. So yeah, they just rotted. They're really old trees, or some sort of, oh, maybe they're ash trees. Something like an ash borer that flew in from somewhere, like crossed over here somehow and just like kills ash trees. It could be ash trees, actually. But yeah, the trees just got so damaged that one fell close to the house, but it a tree was by our house, but it fell. We cut it down the opposite way, kind of by our neighbor's property line. We're probably like the only two houses in our particular stretch of the highway. We're just like outside of St. Mary's. So yeah, we're like a few meters from the highway, kind of set back, and then yeah, there's a house next to us. Did it went through a couple owners, neighbors that we really don't talk to, but I see the new owner on occasion, or renter. I think it's just like a rental property, really. The landlady lives somewhere else. And yeah, I guess she's paid via check or something, some other kind of situation. It's kind of income for her, I guess. Oh, kind of rental property income. So we do have a neighbor. He just comes on occasion. He works full time somewhere and just comes when he can over to the house to kind of tidy up the property, make it his own. But yeah, see him on occasion, but it's just basically us. We keep to ourselves. Yeah. Just go out when we need to. I go to and from work. My dad goes to and from work. He works in Stratford as an auto body mechanic, fixing transport trucks. I might have mentioned this before, but yeah, we're generally fairly laid back. I have an older brother who lives in Stratford, married with kids, or a kid, a nephew of mine. Yeah. So yeah, we just basically do our thing, talk every once in a while. Well, touch base every time, but we know we're all pretty busy doing our own thing. So if anything does come up, we do communicate with one another via text, or we talk to each other on the phone. Have visited a couple times wearing masks and social distancing, doing garage visits, but during the outbreak, that was kind of Christmas, really. Just basically drop off the gifts at my brother's house and yeah, say hello and then go back home was basically our Christmas. And then for my parents and we just basically opened gifts at the house and that was it. And then Christmas Day was fairly chill. We're so laid back. Uh, we have a cat now named Axel, and he's like a year old now. He's a black cat. Uh, Years ago, we used to put up like a miniature tree. We did have an artificial tree when I was like much younger, when we lived in Stratford. at my house where I grew up, like a block away from my public school. Literally, you could just see the school grounds from the window, but now it's a row of townhouses. It was torn down. It was one of the schools that got shut down years ago for downsizing the education system, unfortunately. But anyway, we were talking about decorating for Christmas, but I just go everywhere. It's awesome. The beauty of ADHD or ADD. So now we've had a couple cats over the years. When I was younger, we had a tabby. We sent him to a farm before we moved to St. Mary's. Like, that's got to be over like at least a decade ago now. He's fine or passed away. Certainly lost a lot of weight. He was a heavier cat, but he's probably happier or in a better place now. Yeah. Then we had a Siberian Husky for 13 years after that. Oh, we had the Husky with the cat. The cat just ended up in the basement, living in the basement kind of thing. And during the night when the Husky was sleeping or whatever, the cat would come upstairs from the basement and eat the dog's food. And yeah, that's why Tigger was so big. That was the name of our tabby that we sent away. And the name of our Siberian Husky was Kanuka. She was a female Siberian Husky. And she passed away from natural causes probably 5 or 6 years ago now. But during the night, yeah, that was passed away early in the morning. It was a shrill howl in the air, and then she was gone. She had been outside at the time, and while I was sleeping, I was shot wide awake when she passed. Yeah, I guess age. She was just too old. She just passed away of natural causes, but yeah. That kind of hit us hard because we had her for 13 years or something like that. Yeah, she got her shortly when she was a puppy, and then from a friend of ours that just had a litter of Siberian Huskies, and we got one for free. Got her for free, and then, yeah, she was with us for that good amount. She lived an awesome life. Like, we all loved her, but yeah. There's a time and a place for everything. Everything must live and then die eventually, so yeah. Yeah, no, not. It was devastating, of course, yeah, because she was just basically family, just chilling out, having a good time. We walked her every day, twice a day, morning, night. Yeah, she's an awesome dog, so. No, she just passed away naturally, so. That's what you do. Basically, when we moved out here by the highway, we built a fence so she could run around in the backyard. Then once Kanuka passed away, we buried her on the property, but I don't know where. My brother and my dad buried her because I didn't want to know anything about that. I was fairly upset, and yeah, I understand the facts of life, but yeah, I just didn't want to know. Kind of a little more sensitive to death, but death is a major part of life, but yeah. Oh, it's just I just didn't want to know. I've lost a couple other pets when I was younger. had to put a cat down because of a urinary tract infection. Just in too much pain, I guess. A couple of cats got hit by vehicles. Yeah, pet ownership. Yeah, it was a rough ride, but we took a break when Kanuka died for a couple of years. Then the Humane Society in Stratford uh, was advertising cat adoption, and there was a black cat in the litter. And I'm like, since black cats are don't get adopted as much as other colored cats because of the superstition that black cats are bad luck or something. They're still animals. They're still cats. They're just fine. They just have black fur. Like, I know they're depicted in a negative way, but Axel is what he was named at the Humane Society, and we're just like, yeah, Axel, great. So I'm basically responsible for him. I adopted him over a year ago now, before COVID hit. So I've had him for a good amount of time now. So a few months now. So yeah, he's basically a house cat. He doesn't go outside. He's indoors. So yeah, our house, like this new addition, is separated by a door. So he's just allowed in certain parts of the house. He doesn't have full reign of the house. He go in the basement. He sleeps with me at night for a couple hours with me in my bed. He's not allowed in my parents' room because they close their door, and so he doesn't go into my parents' room. The studio here is out of bounds for him, but he does escape occasionally and runs into the studio, and we have to carry him back in. But yeah, he generally isn't allowed into the new addition of the house. Originally, when we bought this highway property here, there was like a small single car garage beside the existing house. So the floor was like heaving, and yeah, there wasn't any car parked in it. Like it just had degraded. So basically, my mom knows a building contractor, so made up plans for a studio, what we wanted. Uh, we have geothermal, so we installed that like shortly around the time that we were doing the. I think we did the addition, built the addition. The contractor built the addition. We tore down the garage, built the addition, and then added geothermal shortly after, because we don't have a gas furnace or heating. We use geothermal, which is using the heating of the earth, like underground heating or something. I'm not sure the process, but we just don't have like a gas furnace, not natural gas furnace or anything like that. It's just geothermal, and it's just its own system. And we can regulate during the summer. We can turn it into air conditioning. It cools down the house in the summer months, spring, summer. And then fall, winter, we just change the mode to heating, and we can regulate the temperature at any time like a regular furnace. So yeah, it's basically our heating system for the house. It's all good. Yeah. Other than that, we're just low key, keep it simple, go to work, all do our own thing. We have our own interests and all that. My parents have a family business, quilting and rug hooking accessories, like frames and accessories. So we're kind of in kind of the crafting hobby territory here. My dad hand makes the quilt frames, quilt racks, rug hooking handles, etc. I'm not going to blatantly advertise the business. It is findable online, but I'm not going to advertise it here. But it's just what my parents do. Uh, it was a business my grandpa Keith had, or my grandfather had created for rug hooking and quilting enthusiasts, hand quilting or machine quilting enthusiasts. So he made the frames and stuff, and then he passed away from cancer back in 2015, 5 years ago now. And we parents kind of inherited the business and made it their own when we kind of weren't ready to, but we just embraced it and just went from there. We were kind of part owners. While my grandfather was alive, we kind of owned half of it, and then when my grandfather passed, we just got the legal rights to brand our business entirely. So now just operate from our house, and we can ship from our house. We have all the utilities, and if we need to make a frame or something or a custom order for somebody, a customer, we have the wood shop downstairs. Hence is why we have the addition, because this is where my mom and dad do their run their business. We just run it from home, just separate from our place, but our house is just literally like connected to the existing addition. So yep. So my mom basically works from home. My dad's an auto body mechanic. I probably said that tons of times now, but and I work in the food industry. So my dad's the main income for the moment. I'm secondary income. I just help pay some of the bills, and I live in the basement. So yeah, it's good for now, but yeah, I am looking to move out once I get more things sorted out as I go, and it's just gonna be me. Whatever living area I decide to search for. I just want a simple one bedroom house, something small, just the basics. I don't want to go fancy or anything. Some furniture, a few dishes. Yeah, simple. I like simple. I don't need an extravagant house or anything. There are individuals who might be less fortunate than I am, but I just want the basic essentials and just to be able to do my own thing. I'm happy here, but yeah, there just comes a time and a place eventually where I'd like to have a little bit more privacy and do my own thing a little more openly whenever I want. I don't know. It's pretty good here. I help pay the bills, so I'm not freeloading here. Parents welcomed me back, knowing if I ever crash and burned, which I did that year, a few years ago now, uh, that I could just come back and figure something out. So, yeah, I just keep working and yeah, doing my thing, paying my bills, and doing this. Diamond painting, crafting, yeah, just chilling here on my days off. So, yeah, I try to be down to earth, simple. Yeah, just keep things uncomplicated, but when stuff gets complicated, you just work through it eventually. So, yeah, if you ever want to ask me any questions, I've in the description of the last video I put my personal email. It's just basically my name, first and last name, all lowercase. Just watch the spelling. Ever just want to ask me questions outside of Facebook or whatever, I've been posting my Facebook page, my personal Facebook page, my Instagram, which I use a lot, to post my WIPs and my meditation stuff. I basically post my meditation stuff on, Facebook as well. So, yeah. This and diamond painting stuff. Questions still out there if I should make a Facebook group for the channel, so you can post your whips and other crafting stuff. I don't know. That's still an open question that I proposed last night or yesterday in the last video. Yeah. So if you ever want to get in touch with me, Instagram, Facebook, or email at this point. I do have Twitter, but that's just another personal account that I kind of have. I'm not sure how many people are receptive to Twitter. I'll probably just post when I'm live or whatever, but I don't know. That's just something else to consider. Like, I'd probably just use that Twitter account, even though it's like a bunch of my initials and a bunch of numbers or something, but it's another way to get myself out there. Something to consider. So, anyway, I'll probably stop it here. So, you've been watching Echoes of Color with Jeffrey Morrison. And yeah, if you want to know when I'm live, consider hitting subscribe and then hit the bell to be notified when I get put new videos up, which I'm trying to just record and get more material up here. I'll be doing an unboxing fairly soon because I'm probably a couple colors away from being done this Noah's Ark Paint WIP Diamonds 45 centimeters by 30 centimeters 30 color square canvas, just in case I didn't say it. So. Anyway, thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves, stay safe, and I'll talk to you guys again. Alright, have an awesome day, and thanks for watching. Bye. Peace.